castle. First, introducing to the stage. Don't worry, you are in the right castle. Samantha Kelly, also known as Princess Peach. Next, we have Kenny James, the voice of the epic Bowser. And finally, we have Laura Faye Smith, the majestic Princess Rosalina. And this is a look inside Bowser's castle. Wait, is this thing on? Hey.
Hello. Hi.
Cute.
Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to the You're in the Right Castle panel. Give a round of applause to the Mario voice actors right here, please. So you've all been introduced by them, but I would love for them to go ahead and introduce themselves and their respective characters, if you would, please.
I'm Samantha Kelly. I do the voices of Princess Peach and Toad. I've been doing them since about 2005, same as you.
I think so.
Yes. And we have just loved being here. It's my first time in San Diego, so I've just loved meeting a couple of you guys at the table and hanging out. It's been super fun. And I love the cosplays too, you guys. Amazing.
Hi, I'm Kenny James. Been the voice of Bowser since same time period, 2005. I'm going on 21 years now.
Wow.
So Bowser, Dry Bowser, Meowser, all the ers. You were beating
I'm Laura Faye Smith. I'm the voice of Princess Rosalina and Baby Rosalina. I'm the third person to voice her, but I've been doing it since 2013, so about 13 years now.
All right, thank you. All right, guys. Well, let's officially start the panel. I have a question personally. Moments you had with a fan that really impacted you. And said, "Wow, this really means a lot to this person. This really is worth it that I've done this character." So if you could just share a moment you had with a convention or with a fan that really just stood out to you.
I mean, I have a story from the first time. I did the voice for close to 10 years. My first convention was in 2022. So I did this for a while before I ever really met any fans or had any really interaction with anyone. But I remember at the first one I did, a family came up and they were like, "Oh, we want to take a picture of you because this is going to with you because this is going to be on our Christmas card." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, because during COVID, because this was like 2022, they were like, this was a game that we could all play together as a family." And I remember thinking that was so cool. Like they had little kids, they had older kids, the parents. They were all dressed up, in like cosplay, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to take a picture with you for our Christmas card." And I'm like, that's so cool that a game like this was a way for a really difficult period of time, that this was something they could all be together and they could do together. And I was like, that, you don't think about that like when you're just doing that as a job or whatever, but when you're meeting fans and realizing this is something we all that brought us together. I thought that was very special.
That's really beautiful. Nice.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that come to mind when I get that question. One is people that have come up to the table and started crying. You're like, how do I take that? But usually it's just because they're just overwhelmed. So people crying, and then I also get a big kick out of kids that are, say maybe 6 or 7, and they'll go, "I've been playing these games since I was little." Well, it turns out that it keeps going from one generation to the next. Not too long ago, last year sometime, some people had what I would consider a baby, but maybe talking, walking, but not really talking good. And they'll just hand the kid a controller, and the kid will be done, and nothing is happening. They're like running into a wall or something, and they'll be all like, "Are you winning?" So you know, the next generation is formed, you know, right then and there, even if they don't know what they're doing. But it just keeps getting passed on and passed on and passed on. I get people my age coming up to me. I get little bitty kids that aren't little kids because they say they're not. So it's weird, but every fan interaction to me is important. So I try to give them as much time as I can. You know, especially when we don't have a line, I'll sit there and jibber jabber for too long. So I gotta try to give them what they want. You know, don't want to leave them hanging.
Yeah, you guys got to know that it matters to us. Like when you come up and you share your story or you make a connection, that really matters to us because when we did these characters, we were in a booth and we didn't know. And so when you share the stories, it's huge. This was during COVID as well. It was we did a few cons that were online because we couldn't meet in person. And in the online cons, they would have it so that you could be in a Zoom with a fan for like 5 minutes. And I'm a pretty shy person, so I was thinking, oh, wow, how am I going to talk for 5 minutes to someone that I don't know? But it was really special because people in that kind of environment would share like the most personal things. And there was a young man that I met, 19 years old. It was his second round of cancer. You know, he was very skinny. His hair was all gone, but he had like this radiant smile. Like his smile was just huge. And I just loved him. I thought he was so amazing. And what he told me was, you know, this is my second go with cancer. I'm doing the treatments. It's awful. I hate it. But I know I can do it because I saved you so many times. And if I saved you, I can beat this. And he's become my hero. I connect with him on social media all the time still. Now he's in his 20s. He's at a con this weekend. He's healthy. And I call him my hero warrior because he is. So, you know, that just it mattered, you know, that he shared that story. So we love you guys and your stories matter.
Round of applause for you guys, for the fans, really, honestly.
Yeah.
You guys. Because of you guys, they get to do this. They have the job they have now, and you know, because of you guys, this franchise keeps going. I mean, literally, it's generational, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Especially with the movies coming out, you guys get a new generation of fans that enter like, oh, I want to play Mario games now, or you know, I want to play what my parents played. You know, my first game, from what I remember, was Super Mario on the Game Boy, and you know, it like I said, it doesn't slow down. So I would love taking a fan question. So if any fans have any questions.
Warm it up before you start. I've never, I think, gotten to the point where I couldn't do something. I have a couple times had to do a voice after I've been sick, and that was really hard because as soon as you start doing that, you just kick up all that phlegm in your lungs, and that's a miserable and a nerve-wracking experience because you might wake up, feel fine, go in and do that, but your voice will degrade over the day. And so then the big concern is, will I sound the same at the beginning of the session as the end? And you need to sound the same. Like I always say to people, never put a voice on your demo you can't sustain. Like if you're like, I can do a voice like this, but I can only do it for like 2 minutes. No, like you need to be able to do that for up to 4 hours.
Yeah, my idea of warm-ups is yelling at traffic on the way to the studio. So I'm terrible about that. The closest I've come to losing my voice was probably Meowser in 3D World.
And this game really was brutal to you. Like you keep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had it on the page. They actually had Meowser in quotation marks, and I laughed out loud. I said, "That's hilarious. What is it?" So they explained the power up, and I went, "What do you want it to sound like?" And they go, "We don't know." And so I was like, all right, I got to step back, and I said, give me a minute to think about it. And I thought, well, I have to do a big cat because it's Bowser. And once I saw it, because they did have some unfinished, a clip of unfinished video from it, and he was gigantic. And I was like, All right. So I went, not, you can't do that. So, and then Bowser, we didn't overdub it. I did it all at one time. So it was more like a, just. So I did that. I had already been working on other material before that page, and I wound up doing Meowser for about 2 hours on top of what I had already done. And I could taste blood in the back of my throat. It wasn't my vocal cords though, because a couple of days later I was on stage singing. So, contrary to what the interweb says, I did not lose my voice doing Meowser. But I shredded my throat pretty good, but not my vocal cords. My vocal cords are tough. So. I don't know why, but they are. I had a band that I was in one time, the leader of the band, the guitar player, he always said I was indestructible. And I was all like, I don't even know if I believe that. But he had a really deep voice. He was like, "You're indestructible." And I'm like, I know. Why? Because I can sing Sweet Child of Mine twice a night? That doesn't make me indestructible. Anyway, long story short, sure.
Yeah, and it's cool to know that your voice is flexible and there's things you can do to help it. Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who's in the Sonic franchise, she was talking about steaming your voice, and she was telling me, if you steam your voice, it kind of opens it all up. I know Laura is one who loves to go exercise and do a lot of that because it opens things up for her. I bought a steamer and then I was like, this isn't doing it for me. Then I just opened the dishwasher after the hot cycle and feels great. So we just drink a lot of water.
Lots of water.
When we're doing a recording session, and it really helps.
Humming is a good way to warm up your voice, to take care of it. Without speaking, but just like doing a lot of humming.
Yeah, I'm my voice's worst enemy, but I am good about this, especially while I'm recording. In a 2-hour session, I'll drink 5 or 6 bottles of water.
Hydration.
I'm like swimming in my own tissues. And they're like, "You want to take a break, use the restroom or anything?" I'm like, "No." I go, "I soaked it all up." Plus you're breathing, so you're actually getting rid of some of the moisture. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Any more fan questions?
Here we go.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining Mario.